many people have grown up around food and family. And so the story kind of goes beyond my own Italian heritage and affects people in that way.
And you've taken this on tour already. Can you talk a little bit about where you've already taken this show?
Yeah, I've taken it to various places across my state in New Mexico, which is a big state. I just got back from the Philadelphia Fringe Festival in last September. They invited me back this year, but I'm working on a film this fall, so I won't be able to go. And I'm going to LA this coming June. I'll be there for 5 performances there. And I have a booking in Chicago at the end of this year. So kind of around the country. I went to Maine, Portland, Maine. Yeah, so around. Just from end to end so far.
And you're doing some benefit performances now, and this is around the lunch shaming?
Yeah, so in Santa Fe, I'm doing 2 shows here before I leave for LA. And one of them is to benefit New Mexico Appleseed, who I mentioned before. They help to create systemic change at sort of the basic levels. So trying to pass legislation that affects the poor and the underserved. That's really their mission. So it's to help raise money for their organization and also for Michelle Lujan Grisham, who's running for governor here, but again, who's carrying the bill in the House to end lunch shaming right now. In LA, I'm working with Project Angel Food, and they provide meals for everyone, seniors and kids. I think they started out as an AIDS organization to help people get food when they were ill. So I'll be raising money for them and also speaking about, I know they've ended lunch shaming statewide in California, but it's important that everyone become aware of it so that we can help push the nationwide bill to end that practice.
Yeah, it seems difficult right now with so many issues that get so much attention, and so much of the air in the room being sucked out by the Russia investigation and tweets that are happening and stuff that...
I know, and porn stars in the White House.
Right. That it feels like issues like this we don't even hear about them. They don't even rise to our consciousness. But that is something that is so immediately important to real people, to kids and to their families. And so I think this is really great that you can bring attention to it in this way. Are there ways that you can suggest for people, for listeners who are hearing this, who maybe are hearing about lunch shaming for the first time? What would you suggest that they do to help raise awareness?
Well, I think it's important to know if it's going on in your public schools, if it's going on in your area. And then if it is, then you need to alert your state legislators to that problem and see if they'll sign on to the bill that Michelle Lujan Grisham is carrying in the House, or Tom Udall is carrying in the Senate, to try and end it on a nationwide basis. Our phone calls are so important. And that means that, it takes 2 seconds to call your senator or your House of Representatives person, because to me, I have Congress on speed dial. When I'm driving to like an hour, if I have to drive to commute, I make phone calls while I'm driving. And I call my legislators and tell them what's important to me. Thank them for doing what they're doing if they've done something good, because the thank you calls are just as important. They log all of those calls. So it's important to make those phone calls. It's not hard to do it. It takes 5 minutes at most. So I have the Congressional Switchboard phone number on speed dial, and you can always just call the Congressional Switchboard and ask for your legislator, and they'll put you through. So you don't even have to have those phone numbers or even know who they are. You can learn. So I encourage people to find out if it's going on in their area and then call their state legislator and ask them to sign on to the bills.
And the Capitol Switchboard, of course, is 202-224-3121. We've mentioned that on this podcast many times, but I should probably just every single episode remind people. If it's not already in your phone, put it in your phone right now.
That's right. It's really easy. And then you can I love doing this. Call Congress when I'm driving. So
okay, Google,
it's an
Congress.
Easy thing to do. Yeah, that's right. Call Congress. So it's an easy thing to do, and it's important. And like I said, I think it's important to also, thank them and be polite. And everybody's working and doing the best that they can at the level that they can. So, just always be polite and say, this is my concern. And it's not hard to be involved. And I personally, if it was up to me, I would tax people heavily for not voting. Because I think it's our duty as citizens of a democracy. We get the government we deserve. And this is the government we have now is because for decades we've not been involved as we should be. And the activism you see now is the activism that should always be. We should always know what our government is doing, because if we don't pay attention, we end up where we are.
So I'm, of course, in the Midwest. I'm in Chicago, and I know a lot about...
Oh, good. Maybe you'll see me at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I know a lot about Chicago activism, which has certainly been exploding lately. What does it look like on the ground in New Mexico? Is there a lot of activism going on now?
Well, in Santa Fe, there is. There has been here sporadically over the years. Occupy was a big thing here when that happened. People occupied one of our parks for months here. That was the start of when I saw it move. People protested because Santa Fe is a capital city, so we go to the Capitol. We go to the Roundhouse all the time here. So I don't know if the rest of New Mexico is as activated, because a lot of our state is very rural. I think Las Cruces in the southern part of the state has become very active since this new administration has come in, but I don't know the level of activism that took place there prior to that. But I do know Santa Fe has always been active, but it's because the capital is right here.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to make sure that our listeners know if they'd like to do a Debrianna Mansini Film Fest this weekend?
Well, they can always go to my IMDb page. I was really lucky to be in a film that went to Sundance a couple of years ago called Drunktown's Finest, which is what they called Gallup, or maybe they still do. I hope they don't, but that's about Gallup, New Mexico, and the Native American culture there. It was produced by Robert Redford. You can go to my IMDb page, or you can go to DebriannaMansini.com. Check it out.
All right. And if anyone will be in LA, or did you say the ones this month are in Santa Fe?
Yeah, there's 2 performances in Santa Fe this month, the 20th and 21st. And in LA, I run from June 2nd to June 13th at the Broadwater, the second stage at the Broadwater Theater, which is in Theater Row in LA. Yeah, June 9th is the special event where we'll be raising money for Project Angel Food. The other thing I guess I should mention too is that everywhere I've performed, I always partner with a restaurant, and the restaurant will prepare a meal that's inspired by my show during the run of the performance, because most people are really hungry when they leave. They're spending 90 minutes listening to me talk about food. So they can go and enjoy a meal. So the chef that I work with prepares a meal that's inspired by my show, not necessarily things I talk about. It means I want whoever it is to create their own vision of what food evokes for them in terms of family and love. And so people have cooked all kinds of things that come from their family background, and they usually prepare something that's along the lines of what I'm talking about. So in LA, it's Hunter and Charlie's restaurant, and Chef Hunter, who actually prepares food in much the same way. His Italian background is similar to mine, and so his food preparation is very similar. We were kind of excited about that. So he's going to be preparing the food for opening night, an opening night reception, and also the lunch on the 9th, which will be the donation to Project Angel Food. And he'll have Italian food during the run of my show.
All right. Excellent. Well, I'm hungry just talking to you, so.
You better go grab a meatball sub.
All right. And hopefully I'll get a chance to catch you when you're in Chicago at the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. I'd love to meet you in the flesh.
Thank you so much for joining me. This is really exciting to hear about. And, the lunch shaming is something that I had not heard much about. So I'm definitely interested in knowing that it's happening and what we can do about it. So thanks so much for bringing that to our attention.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? off the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Imunari, and we're using it with express permission of the band. Our logo and all original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and is done expressly for Two Broads Talking Politics. We can be found on our website at twobroadstalkingpolitics.com. You can reach us by email at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com, on Twitter at twobroadstalk, on Facebook and Instagram, and you can support us on patreon.com. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and anywhere podcasts are found. If you are interested in advertising on Two Broads Talking Politics, please email us at twobroadstalkingpolitics@gmail.com.